guys, welcome back. So now I'm gonna run a good 6 gauge from my alternator over to my starter. So I'm gonna make the initial splice on the end there and get the, for it can be connected here. And also the way the wiring diagram is from here, this from the alternator, this little plug in here, this little plug in, the red, all it does is the wire comes into two like that. So I'm just going to jump the red wire from here just to there. So I'm going to make just a tiny little cut and create that first, and then the other wire of course goes along the inside, but just to make it a little bit cleaner. And so this little section will just be like right there, just a real nice tight, nice real tight wire. They say 10 gauge for this one, and then of course this one's 6 gauge. But so I'm gonna run the 6 gauge first and get it bolt down and ran, and just keep it separate, from all this, and then that way I can start moving this stuff away, and I'll get to that eventually. I haven't been feeling that well. I got what they call Epstein Barr, and it flares up every once in a while, and it just feels like I'm drugged, like I want to just fall asleep real quick. But anyway, so I want to do that. So, and then I'll label this this cable. I'll say I got a little printer with some heat shrink. So I'll put like alternator alternator to starter on that end, and then that way I know what that cable goes to, and there's no guessing and anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my crimps and everything, and then I'll get this put on, and then I'll get a little 10 gauge wire for this and clean this up and do the same thing there. I kind of want to give you a before look. So that plugs down into there, and we're gonna make this just look a little bit nicer and cleaned up. All right, so see how I have a little label maker with the heat shrink. So that will tell you exactly where that wire is going to go. Of course, I'm going to make a schematic that matches along with everything, so this way I can keep all my wires straight also. And I got the bigger wires for the heat shrink, so that'll look real nice. And let's put that on and kind of see what it looks like with it on the alternator. So basically, see, this end will say alternator, and then that basically going to the starter. So then when I get to the other end, it'll be the other way around. It'll say starter or alternator, and then it'll hook to that. This heat shrink isn't big enough for the battery post, but that's kind of self-explanatory, I think. But I think that'll look real nice, kind of with that heat shrink, kind of explaining what, kind of where things go. And if anybody ever gets confused, they know exactly where to put it back, where it needs to go. All right, so according to my schematic, the brown wire will go to the ignition, to the bulkhead, and then this one, come on, focus, goes to my alternator on the plus side. So I know it's hard to, come on, doesn't like to focus, hold on. I know it's hard to see on the camera because I'm trying to get it to focus, but so that's going to be way nicer. Like I said, everything will be marked and ready, and that'll be all just real nice looking there. All right, let's install at least the positive of that, and then I'll work on the ground here in just a second. So let's put this on and see what it looks like. All right, so we got the first negative, and I'm going to attach it to the front of this engine. There's a little bolt hole down right there. I'm just going to run it up underneath the alternator and then connect it up here. So I need to get the length, so I'm going to put it with the bolt and just hold it in place just for the meantime, where I can get the length and run it to the alternator. Right, see the little bolt hole down there? So I'm just going to wrap it up that way and come up right up to here. And now I know where to cut it. And that'll be plenty of room, you know, for any adjustments or anything like that. So now I can mark it, snip it, cut it, and then that'll give me the length for that right there. And then that'll be nice and clean, and everything will be basically hidden from that. And then I'll just have this one wire, and I can attach it to these other ones, you know, from the temperature control, and then the brake wire there, so that I can run them 3 separately over into here. Because the temperature control is actually one piece that goes to the Dakota digital gauges, so I can't cut that one up. So I'm just gonna have to just run it along with it. But that'll look a lot better, and then I can move these and get them all placed in. And then when I run more ground, when I get these wires right here, I'll splice into the ground right here and attach it to right there too. That way I'll have multiple grounds. Goes to the engine, ground here, you know. You can never have enough ground. All right, and always remember, before you close up your end, you got to get your heat shrink on there where it's going to be marked. This one will fit, but the smaller one, it'll be tight. And then you have to remember how your end is going to go. So I want it opposite of that. So it's going to go like that, because that goes to the engine. Then this will be, you know, flip the other way. So you need to kind of remember that when you're doing it. You can twist the wires a little bit, but when you get to thicker cable, you can't twist so much. So you kind of want to make sure you get the end on correctly. That way you don't have to twist and bind as much. So just something to think about when you are building your cables and thinking it through. So this is kind of just a tedious process. I mean, I've already been at this for an hour, so and I haven't really done a whole lot. So like I said, it's just really, really slow moving. That's why I didn't want to start on the headlights or anything like that until I get to know, or until I get more time in the day. So, because I don't want to be just spending all day out here, especially once it gets dark. It even gets dark in the garage. So, all right, so just remember that. All right, so there's my cable. Negative on that side. See, and then I flip it over on that side, and it says negative on that side. So that's how you build a really nice looking cable. And all right, so yeah, now let's install it. Cleans all that up a little bit. That way there's not so many wires running. All right, gotta get this old harness out eventually, but so I want to do that, and then it's like I said, I need to run that main power wire over to the starter. Okay, and then also there are other what am I trying to say? So this main wire here, this goes to the horn relay down in here, which I'm going to move. So there's that. And then on this other side, see, it's already dark. I'm always working in the dark. And then on this other side, I'm going to run a ground from there down to here. Put it on that strap right there, and then run a strap from here over here. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll drill and tap and die a little hole right there, and that way we can run just a ground wire from there to there. But that'll be my next little my next little project here. There's no other place that I'm seeing that has a direct bolt that I can bolt to, but I'd like to have it like right about here. That way it's not going to touch any of the headers, and I can run a wire right to there and jump across. But I think another ground wire, like I said, you can never have enough ground, at least to here, and I think that'd look pretty nice. Maybe from here jump over. Then there's that negative ground down there on the engine block, so you can kind of see it. Looks kind of nice. Like I said, just kind of out of the way, barely see it. All right, so now I got that one. I brought it up a little bit because I don't want it rubbing up against anything like this, so I just kind of made it a little bit tighter, a little bit shorter. I mean, there's still a lot of play, but I just wanted to make sure there's a nice good ground. And yeah, all right, it's getting a little too dark. Even in here, the light keeps turning off on me because it's set on some type of timer, and I don't know how to turn the timer off. So anyway, we'll come back to finish it up, routing all this, you know, over to here, and get that on there. Okay, and then I need to build a fusible link in between here and down there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this, I'm gonna take that metal bar out of the middle and just build a little fusible link right in there, and that can go right there, and that way I have a nice fusible link right there, and then that's it. That's all I'll need to you know, to do right there. That way the fusible link, I won't have to, it won't be in line with the wire, and it won't, you know, I won't have to cut wires over and over and over again. In case a fusible link does go out or burn up, then I could just change the wire, you know, right away. That's another thing. Kind of got to think a little forward on how you're going to do that. So okay, we'll leave off right there. I don't want to get, like I said, too far. Not yet anyway. So little by little, hopefully tomorrow I'll have a lot more time, and maybe I'll get to it a little bit more. So let's see. Seems like I'm missing something. Maybe I got to do the ground battery wire and figure out it going, you know, replace it too. So, because I need it to be longer to reach over here. All right, but I'll do that once I get a little more daylight. All right, see you guys next time. And yeah, this wiring project is going to take a while. So I'll probably have, if I get this Sunday to myself, I'll have the front end done, and then I can work to the middle and then go to the back or whatever. So I need to make sure though that I run an extra power wire over there too, to run, you know, some accessories or something like that. So I might I don't know if I don't want to tap into this. I want a separate line. I might order some more 6 gauge, but I don't know. We'll see. Like maybe 10 gauge. I got plenty of 10 gauge. We'll see. We'll see what the other stuff takes. All right. See you guys next time.